Welcome to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Mic check, waifu, King, Telliano. Is that you?
Yes, it is 266.
This is episode 266 of Mic Check Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu is where you can get early access to the video version of this podcast. This is where you can get access to the Patreon exclusive podcast, the After Stories, where you can get access to Patreon exclusive video content. More on that coming soon. We are going to be posting Patreon content consistently again. Sorry for the delays. Everything that's been happening for us has been one thing after another. So we promise we're going to bring that back. But Patreon producers, shout out to the Patreon producers that keep the lights on here at Mic Check Waifu. It's Christian, the archivist, Rob from That Needs to Talk podcast, Fear, Blaze, Yams, J. Lee Trait from Shogo Ha, Get the Pro from Chaotic Culture and Shogo Ha, Explicitly, All for One Matt Mazer, Altor, Monique Williams Nachi, Simi Sensei, Frozen, Rob Stone, and last but certainly not least, our guy, T Money Fingers. Thank y'all so much for producing this and a whole hell of a lot of episodes of Mic Check Waifu. We couldn't do this without y'all. It means the world to us that you support us over at patreon.com/Mic Check Waifu. Make sure wherever you listen, you like the video on YouTube, you subscribe to our YouTube, you rate our podcast on wherever you are listening, Spotify, iTunes, Google podcasts that don't exist no more. Wherever you listen to podcasts, make sure you just leave us a rating, a nice rating. We truly appreciate that. So we can find more people like us out there to join our wonderful, wonderful community. We're going to hear from our community a lot today because there are a few things that was discussed in our Discord. Make sure you join our Discord, discord.miccheckwaifu.com to get invited. Join the Discord because a lot of good stuff in there. A whole lot of good stuff. I'm going to start by asking Tel, how you feeling?
I'm great, bro. I'm great. This week was a heck of a it's been my legs. I've been doing calisthenics this week for leg day, and that's basically jumping and no weights. It's all like basically weightless flexibility, mobility training kind of stuff. And let me tell you, I ain't realized how tough it actually was because I stopped for a while. My legs is sore. My wife, her legs just stopped being sore.
I heard a question for you, and maybe you can answer this, maybe you can't. But I heard that calisthenics makes you physically stronger than if you just lift weights.
So it can. And here's how it works though, right? Because essentially a lot of calisthenics is just body weight training, right? So if you're strictly body weight training, you're not really increasing your resistance. But what you can do with body weight training is increase your mobility. Now, you can increase the resistance in body weight training, but it's more about like positioning in some ways, because you look at gymnasts are normally all doing body weight training. B-boys, they're all doing body weight training, you know what I mean? So it's like, yes, you can be extremely strong, but they know how to balance, if that makes sense. So because they have what's called proprioception, which is basically just how your body orients itself to the world around it with an exercise or movement, you gain a certain level of competence with how you move your body, so you can appear or be stronger in certain scenarios. But you'll be hard pressed to find a calisthenics person, even like the peak calisthenics person, outlifting like a peak power lifter, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? But you will probably look a lot better doing calisthenics than you do just lifting weights, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for that lesson in anatomy or whatever.
But it's been a great week, bro. How about you? How you feeling?
I'm doing a lot better. I streamed for the first time in 8 months yesterday, actually, and it went really well. I enjoy streaming, and I figured I better get back to it because I need something to do now since I have less to do without my little man here. But it was great. It was a great stress reliever, a great way to help compartmentalize my grief a little bit better. I said it. But yeah, I'm doing a lot better since I did that. It was refreshing, if you will.
Yes, sir.
So I'm in a better headspace. I'm doing much better, and I'm ready to grind now. More than usual. Even if I gotta start running in this 105 degree weather, getting outside, doing some jogging or something, and some calisthenics myself to get back in shape.
It's great, bro.
I know. So yeah, that's my goal for Polow, I guess is what I was trying to say before I mixed them all together. But yeah, I'm just excited. I'm excited. Now, My Check Waifu is the anime podcast is brought to you every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. CT. We are going to talk about anime here shortly because we got a lot to talk about, because this week we are doing our top 5 of the summer season. Top 5 must watches of the summer season. Usually we do this earlier in the season, but way everything fell, et cetera, excuses. But now, we are doing the top 5 must watches for the summer season in order. So from 5 being the worst, quote unquote worst, obviously, but not bad at all because it made our top 5, to the best being number 1. Before we get into that though, there's a few, I guess, one of the podcasts I used to call it, I used to listen to called it a rigmarole. There's a couple of things I want to bring in, if you don't mind, Tel.
I do have a question for you too when you're ready, so go ahead. Let's do it.
Yeah. No, you go ahead. You go first then.
All right. I remember, it's anime. Remember, I asked you last week, or I told you about, or I talked about Shoshimin in that episode we had last week. And I told you how that episode for me personally was amazing. And I have actually been okay. You thought it was incredible. I was worried because I watched that episode and I thought of how good it was, and I was like, what if Polow don't agree with me on this specific episode? Because I felt like it was a very Polow ass episode. Like, it was so good.
Yeah.
How did you feel about the episode? I wanted to get your insight on that episode.
I'm glad you asked me that. It was because I didn't want to not talk about it, and I would have forgot about it if you didn't mention it. So thank you for that. It was spectacular. It was such a simple yet revealing episode that it was extremely, extremely special. This show is actually so good. It's way better than it's getting credit for. It's a very quiet show, and I think that's the issue. It's a quiet show that doesn't have a bombastic underlying plot or like an overly eccentric cast of characters or anything like that. It's a quiet show that offers wonderful, realistic mystery and solving and creative storytelling in general that I think it might be some of my favorite in the mystery genre with how just smooth it is. It's I don't know if the best word to use is smooth, but that's the only thing I could think of when I watch this show. It's just smooth.
Subtle. It's very subtle. I would like to offer a counter though, only in the regard of I think the characters are very eccentric, and I say that in regard to they're not what you normally would expect, right? Yeah. They are very different, but that's because they're not ordinary. And the show is oddly refreshing, and it's just a very enjoyable show. So I really wanted to get your insight on that because I thought that episode was it was easily my favorite episode of that anime. Easily, yeah. Shoshimin, phenomenal. So
let's go to it then. What was your episode of the week this week, though?
My episode of the week this week, Oshi No Ko.
That was a great episode. My episode of the week this week is is Days with My Stepsister. It's very, very, very impressive, and I'm continuing to talk on it. It's just so good how well these characters are written that it's unbelievable that you start to understand everything as things go on, and it's a spectacular story being told right now. It's so good. Very, very underrated show that I think deserves more love, for real. Okay, here's one thing I want to talk about though. I did finish a show that came out this season that I talked about like last month that I caught up on, and it was From Me to You.
Okay.
This time it was From Me to You season 3. All 5 episodes are on Netflix. They're an hour long each. From Me to You is such a great series. The problem with From Me to You is it's very cliche with everything that happens. It's like, and it's the typical slice of life miscommunication because it's an older show. I think it came out, the original season 1 came out in like 2006, and it continued on, and it still does the same miscommunication pieces that are very frustrating to watch from an adult perspective. But as far as a story told and cast of characters, beautiful show. You absolutely love everybody. I love every single one of these characters, and the moment to moment drama that happens in this show is so well done. So I just wanted to give credit to that. That was a part of this season, and it was a part of my most anticipated this season, and I finished it finally. So it was really, really good, and I wanted to throw it out there and give it credit.
Nice.
And I also want to give love to, before we get into our top 5, stuff that still continue, like Yatagarasu, bro. I almost gave my episode of the week this week to Yatagarasu, only because it's, how do you go from what it went to this, and it's still as captivating as it was from episode 1 to now. Like it's going like a slight spoilers, but it's going mystical. It's going mystical right now, and that part is just as intriguing as it was when it was just a political piece.
And without, I guess, jumping too much into it, it's like it was never not there. You know what I mean? They just, it's so nice because they led so heavily with the political intrigue and aspect of it that you were like, this whole scenario didn't necessarily come to mind with how this would operate, or if this was a scenario that could happen. Yeah. So when you get to this point, you're like, oh my goodness, hold up. And I'll be honest, the last week's episode, I was a little like, I'm not 100% sure yet, but they hit some points in that episode that I was like, I can see where this is gonna go. So yes, it's hit a point now where it's like, yeah,
I'm gonna do a call to action for somebody specific. It's one of our producers, Frozen. Frozen was the one rocking with us with this show heavy on social media and just our forums. So when I post the episode discussion, the 266 episode discussion in the forums, Frozen, drop your thoughts on what you think about this change up of Yatagarasu. I'm very curious to see what you think, and we'll share it on the show next week. I'm very curious. If anybody else want to do it that's watching Yatagarasu, please drop what you think about the change up for this since the second half has started, because I'm really interested to see what y'all think.
Was it Frozen's sleeper last season, or was it someone else's sleeper?
I don't remember.
As a sleeper.
Yeah, no, I don't remember. But I'm very curious to see what people think. All right, so to go into the community a little bit, let's go to Dad Needs to Talk. Dad Needs to Talk writes in our Anime Talk channel. He says, I finally started Dead Demons the other day and watched all 13 episodes this weekend. It's so freaking good. Very glad it's simul-dub and excited to see these last few episodes and how it all wraps up. This is what I'm adding to my list, because I didn't even know what it was when he mentioned it, but I'm adding it to the list.
This is one I did watch the first 3 episodes. I think they dropped like 3 episodes immediately, and it was very different, and I set it aside to binge it when it was complete. But visually, I think it looked great. I didn't feel that need to immediately jump into it. But
so Dead Demons?
Yes. I do have it on my list though.
So I'm getting something called Dead Destruction. That's different though.
Dead Demons Destruction.
Oh, okay. Dead Demons Destruction. I didn't read the whole title. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, and it's simul-dubbed. That's clean. Okay, I'm gonna check it out. It doesn't say it's only 13 episodes though, so I don't know where he getting the episode count from.
Yeah, it says there's another episode coming out in 3 days or 4 days, basically at this point.
Yeah, he said the last few episodes, so I'm assuming he knows when this ends. Because I was planning on doing that same thing because this has been in my list the whole time, and I think we talked about it at the beginning of the season because I think Fear dropped it in the Discord as a forum post. So this is one that we all planned on like watching binging wise. So yeah, I'm looking forward to binging that. So I just wanted to get that out there, make sure we don't forget about it, make sure it's still high on our list. And then second, let's go to our guy, All for One Matt, another Patreon producer, another supporter of ours. He says, saw people basically shitting on Tower of God, saying it's getting the 7 deadly sins treatment now. Keep in mind, this was on Twitter/X, so y'all know how it is on there. Yes, we do. What are y'all thoughts on season 2 so far? Personally, for me, I've been enjoying it. So
I think we talked about it last week a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but because I wasn't even caught up. I was 3 episodes behind, and I caught up finally. I will say this: they are not wrong with the 7 deadly sins comparison. It looks, when you compare it to season 1, it lost its character, its art style. It lost all of it. You know how they had the thick lines in season 1, how it is in the manhwa, and just the animation in general. Everything looks so bad. It just looks bad, terribly bad as far as animation goes. And that's what I think they're referring to. The problem with 7 Deadly Sins is not only did it have an animation problem, it also had a story problem. So
characters are trash.
Characters turned trash. Everything just went bad for 7 Deadly Sins. However, on Tower of God, it's a bit different. The characters aren't just the plot of within itself is still good. However, there is still some weird porting and jumping around that feels wrong. It always feel wrong because in the manga it's a lot smoother than this. But other than that, it's been good. I'm not going to say it's been great. I'm not going to say it's been okay. It's been good. It's been that in the middle of good, great, and okay. So while it's not like impressive, but this wasn't impressive in the manga either. Like it wasn't that impressive to me either. So I'm enjoying it still. But they are right about the 7 Deadly Sins as far as the animation goes. It looks bad. The show looks bad.
And I think last week we said basically that it feels like they're taking their time with this part specifically. Like maybe they're just getting all the little details. Yeah. Which is okay because I would rather them get all the details than give us the God of High School treatment where we get no details. You know what I mean? And I guess we did read it, so it's kind of okay for like people who may have read it, but because we don't have to necessarily sit around and I guess think about it or theory craft about what's coming next. We kind of know what's coming, but yeah, it's been cool. You know what I mean? Like it's still a smooth watch. You turn it on, it's good. Yeah, I thought this week's episode when Bam is doing his little dodging moment, I'm like, this is not. This is a lot of that too. The animation I wanted. They reminded me of how they did the motion blur with what's the name of that anime? Black Clover, and whole body parts are just invisible, but except this isn't like slow mo. So it's like it's not bad. It's just
animation wise.
You can tell the quality dropped a bit. That's all it is.
Yeah,
the quality dropped.
It's not even okay in my opinion. But when I say it's not bad, I mean the show in total, right? Okay. In because like I said, there are still characters in the show that I love. I love some characters in this show still. No, that's a fact. And the story itself. Yeah, and where it's going, you know what I mean? So I think that it's very easy for people who I guess are getting bored with the context. Like, yes, I'm a shonen fan. I love shonen anime. But this is I guess it's shonen-esque, but it's also very shonen, it's very
this is a lot slower paced than I think regular shonen fans are even excited or normalized for.
Even the author said that his goal was to create every piece of a shonen and throw it into this manga. Like every aspect of shonen, he wants to put it in this manga, but he wants to make it more mature. And that's exactly what he's been doing. He's been doing that for ages. So it's like it's nothing new. It's no different. So I guess I go into it knowing what to expect, but it's just like the only thing that's bothering me is the porting of shit. Like the teleporting. I always hate teleporting where shit just. How long has it been? Like why is it these jumps in times that just feel so irregular? Pun intended, I guess. It is just. It's not. It's not. That part always bothered me until I got reading it or watching it. So I guess there's nothing I could do about that. But I still enjoy it because I like the characters. Fuck Rachel. All
right.
And then I want to give. I don't think T Moneyfingers gave us his overall grade. He wrote a lot for his summer grades, which was obviously too late by the time we recorded this. But yeah, he didn't give me an overall grade of the season, unfortunately. So I can't really go off of what he thinks of the overall season, but a lot of A's and a lot of B's for most of his shows, which is good.
B plus?
Yeah, I would probably call it a B plus with the amount he got. And then I wanted to go to Rob Stone. Rob Stone also wrote a lot on last week's video. Let's finish off with Rob Stone here. Let's see if I can summarize it cleanly. There it is. Yeah, he basically said sorry for writing late. He's real life got in the way and giving me his condolences. I appreciate that, Rob. And he said for his mid-season, he gave me episode numbers and stuff where he stopped. But basically, I'm gonna go to his overall. He said overall, I really like the slice of. He said overall B plus for the season. I really like the slice of life. So this season has been great, but there is enough action to change it up. But I will have to drop more than I usually do, or / committed more time to the 3 bad shows on my list than I normally would. So that this list keeps it from being an A minus. He says my top 5 is the first he recommended. So his top 5, we can go into his top 5 actually. His top 5 is Too Many Heroines. That's his number 1. His number 2 is Alya. His number 3 is Wistoria. No, I'm sorry. His number 3 is Days with My Stepsister. His number 4 is Wistoria. And his number 5 is I Parry Everything. Great I Parry Everything episode, by the way. I just wanted to throw that out there as well. Oh, fantastic episode that was. I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say this motherfucker parries. I mean, so good. It was so good. It was so good. Okay. I appreciate that, Rob Stone. Appreciate you, T Moneyfingers. You wrote make sure y'all, if y'all in the forums, make sure you check out everything T Moneyfingers could say, because everything he said about these shows are dope, except for like Pseudo Harem, because we don't know nothing about that because we dropped it.
Oh yeah, the acting one.
Oh yeah. So in that one, Rob Stone is talking about and spoiler, sorry y'all if y'all watching Pseudo Harem, but who cares? Apparently, they're dating and they're like talking about college and stuff.
Goodness gracious.
There's some progression, but like, why would you care if it's like not even, if you don't even have time, to care? If it's anything like it was the first 3 episodes. What?
Oh, I was gonna say I meant I should have brought it up earlier, but I caught up on No Longer Allowed in Another World.
Oh, good. No Longer Allowed in Goodness gracious. Oh, No Longer Allowed in Another World is not Nobody Remembers Me. I almost had that confused again.
It's not Nobody Remembers Me. I'm talking about No Longer Allowed.
Okay, so what did you think? What did you think? Still the same?
His power is dope as fuck.
It's dope as fuck, dude, right? It's so creative. It's creative as hell.
And it's funny because it was like the very episode where I was like, I'm just going to wait. It was like the very next episode. I watched that episode. I'm like, why is his power so cool?
Yeah. All you had to do is just go one more episode and then it'll be right with. It's so cool, dude. It's so cool.
Like, oh no, that's wild. And then
creative as fuck.
And then we get a cool down episode, and then the very next episode he uses it again. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
his power is dope. So I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, all right, now I understand.
It's really good. It's really good. That's funny. All right, so before we get into that, what we spoiling this week in the second half of the show?
I think we talk about maybe Makeine.
Too many losing heroines. I really wish you watched Days with My Stepsister so we could talk about that. It's so much to talk about in that show.
I'm going to. I just ended up binging. No Longer Allowed Another Word instead. Elusive Samurai, maybe. Did you watch that one?
Yeah, but what is there to,
I guess. Well, we also have. Well, I know Wistoria, but I guess it's not. I have comments about Wistoria. Really, it's not really, I guess, enough. Okay. I guess we can also get your thoughts on My Hero, because I did want to personally ask that, but I don't think My Hero. But I wanted your overall thoughts on My Hero, so we can just throw that in.
Okay, we can throw that in too. Okay. Oshi No Ko. Too many losing heroines. Oshi No Ko, and we'll obviously sprinkle in the other stuff. Maybe Yatagarasu.
Yeah.
If you want, we can do that. Let's do that. And then we'll sprinkle in some other stuff. Y'all wouldn't know when y'all hear it. Okay, so now, these are our top 5 of the summer season so far. 2024 summer season. Must watches. This is for everybody that didn't start yet, or looking to start, or trying to find some new shows for this season. Starting at number 5. Number 5.
What you got, bro?
Number 5 for me, and let me just preface my list, because I always got to preface my list. My list is not going to contain anything that's returning for a season 2, season 7, season 3.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Nothing's going to contain anything that's coming from previous seasons, because they're great. Obviously, if you watch season 1 of something, you watch season 2. If you watch season 6 of something, you're watching season 7. So there's no reason to add it to a top 5 must-watch summer anime list. So with that being said, with that caveat out the way, did I fuck up your list when I did that?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I was being like dramatic, bro.
Okay. Number 5. I thought I was ready until I remembered I'm not ready. Okay. My number 5, man, to be honest, is going to be Elusive Samurai. I think Elusive Samurai is one of the most impressive shonens this season. Very creative, very unique, great story. As I said about the MC he's starting to grow on me more, but he still lack a lot of character within himself. It's the characters around him that's extremely special that I enjoy watching. Elusive Samurai is fantastic. I think it's definitely a must watch. So it's number 5 on my list.
That makes sense. I kind of figured it was going to be in that spot. I thought it would have been like 1 slot higher, though, in my opinion. I thought you were going to put it 1 slot higher. My number 5, I was going to say number 5. Goodness gracious, technically I did. All right. Alya sometimes hides her feelings in Russian.
5?
Yeah, number 5.
That's crazy.
I really enjoy this show for what it is, bro. It is just like, it's this like kind of, I guess I love the back and forth, even though like one of them doesn't even know. And there's so much like, I do want to know more, because I feel like obviously there's more to their relationship than we know about, because obviously there's something forgotten. At least that's what it feels like to me. So I want to see more of this development between them and where things go. And I feel like they just hit us with more details in the last, like, I guess 2 to 3 episodes that just brought in more intrigue to this show. Brilliant. So I am really enjoying this show. And like we already know, Slice of Life is running this season.
Mm-hmm. Easily. Wow. Number 4. Tell you want to start with number 4?
My number 4 is Love is Indivisible by Twins. I think Love is Indivisible by Twins is, I can't say it's like fresh, right? I can't say it's fresh, but it is one of the more enjoyable slice of life watches I've had. I'm not gonna say I guess because the slice of life has been getting better and better for me over time. It's just one of the most enjoyable ones I have for this season, and this I guess the relationship of the sisters, the battle, and now what seems to be like this new intermediary battle, because I feel like there is now a third, but I love the relationship aspect of it. I love how they're looking at it. So yeah, Love is Indivisible by Twins is my number 4.
My number 4 is Wistoria. Wistoria is a very, very decent shonen. It's not. I should have put it in number 5, to be honest, but number 4, it's number 5 because it's number 4 because of this most recent episode. It was pretty good as far as like progressing. Finally, it's just the thing about Wistoria, and I want people to understand this. Great show, one of the best new shonens I've ever seen. Period. Like, period. The problem is that it's so typical that it starts to get, old. Extremely. Yeah. Okay. That's better. That's old is not the term I want to use. Predictable is better, because when you've seen as many as we have, right? Seen as many shonen as we have, we know what comes next after certain situations, and it's very predictable. But I'm enjoying it more than I've ever have any other predictable last shonen. I.e., I'm talking about Black Clover, or what was the other one? Eden. I hated that Eden show. Just shit like that. It's just way better than it has any right to be, with a character that's way more likable than any other main character you've seen in a while. So it's a good show, and I think it does belong in a must watch. Must watches, even though everybody's already watching it. But yeah, you can't deny that it belongs in a must watch. Number 3.
Number 3.
So starting from me for number 3. This is tough. This is where my list gets a little jumbled, because it could be so many different places, right? Like so many different things. But for me, number 3 has to be Days with My Stepsister.
Okay.
I do enjoy it more than I do Indivisible by Twins, so that's why I took the spoilers. It took the place of Indivisible by Twins. Indivisible by Twins, spoiler again, it's not on my list. But it definitely deserves to be. It's a fucking must watch, and I say that because it's again the writing is unbelievable. The way it lets you sit with just anything and everything, motherfucker. There's a scene that's about a minute and a half, 2 minutes of somebody just walking in the house, but it has so much of an impact to the story and emphasis on just what's going on in the realm of the world, and it's so slice of life tale that is you cannot deny that the points in which people are coming from in certain situations. It's fucking spectacular. It's one of my favorite shows this season. Easily top 5 must watch.
Damn. I mean, like I said before, I'm going to take your word for it, because I am going to catch up on it, and I can't wait to talk about it. We gotta have a conversation. Well, because like you said before, the other one that we watched, Haji Hero. I took your word for it, and man, you was spot on, because that shit was amazing.
So good. And it had a lot of great conversations, and I think this one would too.
Yeah. So I think that 100% I'm going to end up taking your word for it. My number 3 though. Remember, I'm a shonen guy. Elusive Samurai. I really enjoy Elusive Samurai, and obviously I feel like everybody's already watching it. But I love the interactions between like all of his retainers, and I love how the development is going. But what drives me though is really, to be completely honest, is the enemies. And it's not that the enemies are like this amazingly, like, I guess, well thought out characters themselves in terms of how their personalities are, but more about like,
for sure.
Yeah, the caricatures, but more about like how they interact within the environment of the world. That's I guess that's what I love about these villains. they all are very dramatized and dramatic thesis of different types of enemies you might encounter and how he has to maneuver those specific, like you could say puzzles, but they're really just like different interactions that he has to figure out how to elude and then get his victory through. So yeah, man, I'm really enjoying Elusive Samurai, so I put it at number 3.
That's crazy. That's high as hell. Yeah, you could just tell how our taste just slightly differs. You got the shonen person, you got the slice of life person. That's so crazy. Number 2, it's very number 2. Oh, this is your turn for number 2.
Number 2. My number 2 is Wistoria Wand and Sword.
That's crazy.
Now, I'm a shonen guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a battle guy. I love watching a good fight. This episode, most recent episode, extremely predictable in my opinion, right? I'm gonna say most of it was extremely predictable in terms of how it was gonna turn out, who was gonna win. Obviously, that was predictable.
You know what? Sorry to interrupt, but the funny thing is, I said he was going to win before I even, like, in my head, I'm like, one won, and we already knew he was going to win because he was in this challenge. We haven't seen him, so it's like that's so predictable. It was so fucking predictable. Yeah,
the only other one was the girl, and I feel like she was in this conversation. But we knew that our MC was gonna wash, bro, and I'm not gonna say completely wash, but what was so interesting to me was the breakdown, was the conversation more or less that he had, like how he saw through dude, and that kind of spoke to me because I love an MC who is more than what you just get in an everyday typical MC. He is seeing far more than what a regular shonen MC is seeing, 100%. At least in my opinion. To me, this felt like, and you're gonna know immediately why I put it at number 2 when I say this. It felt like if this came out at the same time as Shibuya Fell Night, I'd have been like, bruh, this is better. This is
sorry to say.
It's easy, right?
Better than Shibuya.
But I'm saying that, like, this is something that, like, because it resonated with me, like how Chivalry did. I just thought, like, Chivalry, it had that moment, that clap. I was like, it was so good. So Wistoria Wand and Sword, for me, it's hitting different. And I do love a good shonen battle, but it ain't even got to be shonen. I just love a good battle with a good MC and, like, a good villain getting knocked down, bro. I love a villain getting smacked down. I love it.
I always say this. It's one issue I have is that it's going to get in its own way, like it did the previous episode. Just don't do that. Don't get in your own way. When you don't get in your own way, this show can be fucking up the perfect shonen, man. And I still believe that to this day. Like it, as long as it's not doing those episodes where it's trying to drag it out just so you can get to an end cliffhanger, that's kind of tacky. Then it will be a perfect shonen. Like if it was, and you could tell because it's not, it's only going to be 12. So they finally got an episode count for this. It's only going to be 12 episodes. See, and that brings it even further down for me, because if you're only doing 12 episodes, you can't afford to have these episodes where it's like these weird ass juxtapositions or drawn out situations that just repeating the same shit over and over and over again, just so you can have this oh shit moment. It doesn't feel good when you're watching it. Coming from somebody who watched almost 1,000 anime, it doesn't feel good. It never felt good. But to be fair, this is one of the best new shows, period. And I stand by, or new shonens specifically. I stand by that. Number 2 for me, it's obvious. We can all say it together now. Alya Sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. People don't understand how special this show is. And the reason why I say that is because we got people in our Discord talking about some, the student council is like the weakest point or it's falling off because of that part. I'd never heard a more group of people more wrong in my life. And I'm going to say it. Normally I don't say people's opinions is wrong, but that shit is wrong as fuck. And I say that with my whole heart, only because what it does is it expands the show. It expands the show to a point where it's like, you were getting a way better understanding of who our main character is and what he's capable of, and including the little dips into the past that they show, or into the dips between the sister and her father and the situation they got going on and why they were split up and all this shit that's so deep entrenched into this story that's way bigger than just a normal romance slice of life. that I think these pieces are what brings the slice of life together and makes it so formidable when it comes to unique storytelling in the slice of life. We don't get this often. We normally just get a typical ass miscommunication, back and forth dramatization, and the main character that doesn't understand his feelings, and it's a whole bunch of bullshit in these slice of life that just never adds up until the very end when they finally figure everything out. This, bless you, is so unique and different because of these different aspects within these different characters that you are meeting and figuring out. Like, I don't want to say any spoilers because it's the top 5 must watch list. So these are people who might have not seen it. But Alya's sister, we know there's more to her and who she really is. That is fucking a massive turning point within the show if it ever does get revealed. And they can just that can flip everything on its head, even though there's not really much progression in the sense of what our main character and Alya's got going on. It's just it's so much more than that. So that's why Alya Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian is number 2 and easily could be number 1 if it wasn't for this other show. Number one. Oh, so go ahead.
I just wanted to say they definitely lying.
Yeah,
Alya is amazing. And hear me out. It's not to like, because I'm not trying to boost it or nothing like unwarrantedly.
I am. It's warranted though.
I got Hachimon vibes with like a little bit of Classroom of the Elite, but like with an actual slice of life. And I only say that because our MC is like, he's competent while putting on that he's not. You know what I mean? I love it.
For a reason.
Love it. And we talk about that often. Like I literally just said, I love a good MC who can read the room. I love a good MC who can see the characters that are in front of him and tell you what's next. And that's even why Oshi No Ko is so good. Brilliant. Is that these characters can read the people. They read the room, and I love it, bro.
It's spectacular. It's spectacular. It really is very, 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 very good show. Then now, number one. My number 1 show is obviously going to be Too Many Losing Heroines.
Easy.
For everything we talking about with Alya, this has the same type, but it's more of an investment within the people for me. I am invested in Lemon's situation. I am invested in Yanami's situation. I don't really care for Yanami that much, blue hair chick. She's not my favorite, but everything around our main character is great. And now you could tell that he's a normal kid that didn't ask for this and don't ask for much and is new to building relationships with other people. And watching him go through that is like watching you remember that time frame in movies, right? This is like slight tangent. Remember that time frame in movies where it's like you had American Pie and all these coming of age stories, Step Brothers. You had all these kind of comedies that were super unique and just fun to watch, right? It's like that with this particular show. It's a coming of age story that's so unique and interesting and fun that I like it more than anything else this season outside of like Oshi No Ko, right? So it's been my most. Every time I watch it, I'm giddy when I see this tag that it's a new episode of this show out. Like I'm fucking excited every single week.
I would like to say I am very surprised that you said that you like it more than everything else other than Oshi No Ko. And it's not to say like, because Oshi No Ko is clearly amazing, bro. It's clearly amazing. But I feel like I have this love for this show that is very different, right? Because I feel like they're 2 very different kinds of like works of art. Because like, yeah, like I guess I can see it. Oshi No Ko has me drawn in a sense of like, I'm just like captivated by what's going on.
And that was episode 1, season 1. I
think that, like you said, I'm so invested in the relationship of these characters and relationships, how they're developing each other. And I think back to like, what was it, episode 4, where they were underneath that canopy talking. And there are so many moments in this show where I'm just captivated in how the development and relationship of these characters go, that I don't really like think about what's going on in the outside world at that moment.
Me either, dog. Me either.
So I feel you, but I'm like, man.
And what I said was I said I like it outside of Oshi No Ko. Oshi No Ko is obviously the number one show this season, but it's a season 2. It was going to continue the trend of being one of the best shows ever, to be honest, for Oshi No Ko. So I'm kind of setting that in a different pace. When it comes to new shows, Too Many Losing Heroines is number 1 this season, and it's not even close. Well, okay, Alya is kind of close. It's like if you're watching the video version, it's here and then it's here type close. You know what I'm saying? It's not like a this or this. It's a gap, but it's not major.
It's only close because they're in the same season. I ain't gonna lie to you.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right about that. That's true. That's very true.
Makeine and Too Many Losing Heroes is, to me, it feels fresh, bro. It feels good to watch, and it feels like I'm gonna recommend it.
100%. Wait, so you're saying this year also your number 1?
Yeah, bro. What you mean?
Oh,
I thought we agreed as soon as you said it.
Oh no, I didn't know. Okay. All right. Tell, what is our list looking like?
All right. So Polow Dolo. Polow Dolo's number 5 was Elusive Samurai, while my number 5 was Alya Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian. Polow Dolo's number 4 is Wistoria Wand and Sword. Mine is Love is Indivisible by Twins. That's a weird thing to divide by, I guess. Number 3 for Polow Dolo, Days with My Stepsister. Number 3 for me is Elusive Samurai. Number 2 for Polow Dolo, Alya Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian. Reasonable. Number 2 for me, Wistoria Wand and Sword. And number 1 for both of us, Mic Check Waifu has agreed. Makeine, Too Many Losing Heroines is obviously number 1 this season.
Yeah, fantastic. Such a fantastic show. All right. Let's add, before we go into get to know Mic Check Waifu, where we get to know us a little bit better. Let's drop in some honorable mentions, if we shall. All right.
All right, let's do it.
I'm going to say the Asian newbie adventurer trained to death by the most powerful party becomes invincible. It's pretty good.
You think Osan Nubi is that good?
It's pretty good. I think if you're watching all 5 of everything we've recommended so far anyway, and you're looking for something new to add it. It's worth checking out. I don't know how it's going to turn out because we only have a few episodes left, but it's pretty good.
I do agree with that. I'm just surprised that Polow decided to make that decision.
Really?
Only because I knew you liked it. I wasn't sure yet. I wasn't sure that you enjoyed it that much.
I'm excited to watch it every week.
And then, I mean, oops, my bad. Really, for me, I'm gonna say, I don't know, bro. I'm gonna say that other than like, I guess I'm looking at stuff that's not repeating for the season. Mm-hmm. For me, things that are not repeating for the season, I don't really have too many outside of maybe like Dahlia and Bloom.
Mm-hmm. That was gonna be my next one. Yeah.
That's kind of personally for me, that's kind of the only other one this season I would say is a must watch.
You're crazy. You know why?
Why?
The Shoshimin's right there.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. You know what? I forgot that did not make it on the list, but I thought that was like
neither one of our lists, which is crazy. Which is crazy because this is honestly, if I had to give, and this is without really thinking about it, it's a fucking off the dome Mic Check Waifu review. If I had to give it a Mic Check Waifu review, this would be a solid 8.5. Like, yeah, that's how much I like Shoshimin. The reason why I don't feel like it's a must watch is because I think you gotta be in a certain headspace for it, right? Like I do, and I'm thinking, I'm not thinking for us or even our community, to be honest. I'm thinking just in the generalized anime space. I do think you gotta be in a certain space for it. You gotta be open. You gotta be ready to sit through some. Yeah, perceptive, and then ready to sit through some slower conversational pieces. I know people who can't watch anime. Somebody in my stream yesterday said, I can't watch anime because my ADHD is so bad that I have trouble reading subtitles. And if you watching you're not gonna be able to watch Shoshimin at that point. Like, it's the whole thing is just subtitles. Like that's just it's very important to keep track of.
My ADHD is the reason that I have to read fast sometimes. But hear me out. Shoshimin for me, I don't know. I guess you already said it. We don't need to be in a certain mind space for this. For me though, I just turn Shoshimin on.
Yeah, of course. Me too.
And I'm just like this. It's like a cup of coffee. If I don't even drink coffee, but it's like a cup of coffee. Like it's gonna hit every time. For like if it's the drink, your drink of choice is your drink of choice, and it hits every single time I've turned it on, bro.
Very well said. A nice old fashioned with a walnut.
I'm telling you,
or a fig in it. It's all. You're right. Absolutely. All right. Well done. Let's get to know my check waifu waifu. It's for those uninitiated, get to know my check waifu waifu is where one of us rolls a random number generator, the other reads a question associated with that number. It's my turn to roll a random number generator till it's turn to read the question. Or is it the opposite? I don't remember. Huh?
No, roll it, bro.
Oh, it's okay. The number is 14.
Number 14. What anime has made you cry the most? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Clannad.
Yes, that's not even a hard question to answer.
That anime has hurt my soul.
Me too. Like unbelievably ugly cry too. It's not even like a normal thug tear.
My wife ain't never seen me cry over a show until that anime.
Oh, it's funny. All right. When we come back, we're going to spoil what shows? Oshi No Ko. Yes, Oshi No Ko.
Too many losing heroines. Oshi No Ko and Yatagarasu.
And Yatagarasu, which with some others sprinkled in like My Hero and stuff. We'll be right back after these. and welcome back to episode 266 of Mic Check Waifu. As always, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the YouTube, rate us on all podcasting apps, and support us at patreon.com/MicCheckWaifu. Join the Discord, discord.miccheckwaifu.com. All right. We are going to start spoiler talk with Makeine, Too Many Losing Heroines. This is episode 7, and this is the conclusion of Lemon's situation. Lemon's situation being that her childhood best friend that she was in love with the entire time found a girlfriend, and the episode before this, when she ended up confessing her love in an unbecoming way to both of them while they were on a pseudo double date, quadruple, quintuplet date, or whatever the fuck was going on there. And it was a highly stressful and sad situation for our girl Lemon. This time, you know, our small little party went to go see Lemon out in the countryside where she was staying with her grandmother to kind of get over everything, and shit was resolved in a very neat way. I must say, what this does well is it puts, and it's so crazy to think about. So you know what I think about when I watch this show?
What's that?
Who the fuck goes through this in high school?
Let me, man, bro, right? But also, it made me think: are Japanese children just more responsible and adult-like than American children? Because who going through this, and then who's handling it this way?
Yes.
So elegantly.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, in high school, what were we doing?
I mean, I know we was chilling.
Yeah, yes, we
but
was.
I think if we would have ended up in this situation, I don't think the counterparts would have been chilling based on our environment.
Mm-hmm. Like it wouldn't have been like there would never have been that long before. Like if y'all are childhood friends like that, something, you know, would have happened. You would have figured it out.
Well, I had a childhood friend that apparently had a crush on me and didn't tell me until she moved out of the state. And she was actually the best friend of your ex-girlfriend.
Oh, okay. All right. I know.
And while that I was just oblivious because I did not care. And I also, you know, I'm a person who treats friends like friends. You know what I mean? If you're a friend, I'm gonna always say you're a friend. If you tell me you're a friend, you're gonna stay that way. So I am a person who would also not pay attention to that. So I get it. But I also think I was oblivious to signs that would have been like, obviously this girl like you. I can see them now because I've had experience.
Yeah.
But as a kid, I was like, yeah, bro, I had no idea, man.
Yeah, maybe it's like, because it's the same for me. There's been quite a few that have told me.
What's your nickname again?
Stop. The friend zoner.
The friend zoner.
Listen, but that was, dude, and they always told me, right? They always said that. But what I've always done, it was like, you know what? See where it go. That's why Cole gave me the nickname.
They never made it out the DM.
But to be fair, like I think about the perspective of me. There was times, and this is a little embarrassing, that I did have a crush on people and that I didn't say anything to. But was I upset when I got boyfriends and stuff? I don't know. I never gave a fuck. Like that didn't matter to me. So it's interesting to see these perspectives, but you're right. I think it's the culture thing. I think Japanese people take it a little bit more seriously, right? Like the odds of they take it a lot more seriously. What's interesting to me though is like, where does this particular show go? And I find it very hard, and why this is probably why it's the number one show this for me is I find it very hard to predict what's going to happen. Because to be honest, when our main character started ignoring the blue-haired chick, I thought it was going to be some sort of romantic development between that, and it didn't go that way at all.
Right.
So it's like it's very hard to see where this goes. Like, is there a point where one of these girls start to like our main character, or like, what do you think? If you had to try, even though I do believe it's hard for anybody to try to predict anything that goes on in the show, what would you think would happen for our main character?
This show has pulled my prediction card.
Yeah,
I don't know, and I say that because, like, while I feel like specifically the ending of this episode was an intentional misleading, right? You know what I mean? I feel like that was obvious.
Can you get Ino for me? Well, Ino just got done dealing with relationship issues himself, so why would he fake being your boyfriend? Goofy,
right? But while I see that, right, I see this group of girls, and it's like the only way I could see it going is that they literally all just stay friends. Mm-hmm. But like, how does it progress then? And it's like, I have no idea, because the show has been so quality up to this point. So it's like, I know that there has to be a little bit more, like, and I guess like mess is what you would call it. Mm-hmm. But there has to be more intermingling with like finding out the dynamics of even within their relationship within the group, because there has to be more discussions about, okay, well, if we're moving forward. And I think that the ending is a foreshadowing to what's to come next, but it isn't a clear foreshadowing. And I love that in a sense, because it doesn't directly tell you what's going to happen. Because like you said, we know that Ino just got finished dealing with this current situation, right? Mm-hmm. So we know it's not necessarily that. They were all there for that. You know what I mean? So that's not going to be the scenario, but it's going to be something else. So I don't know. I don't know, bro. It pulled my prediction card. Like I said, I have no idea.
At the end, he hit her with, Yamane, you need to find a boyfriend. Mm-hmm. Like, because it's just getting to this point.
Out of hand.
It's getting out of hand, and I feel
you
like
out of pocket.
It's so good because, okay, I think what this show does well is it leads well, right? And what I mean by lead, right? After they conclude an arc, let's call it an arc for lack of a better word, right? After they conclude an arc, for example, Lemon's arc concludes beautifully, well done, bittersweet, but very well done. They transition into what's going to be the next arc very cleanly. And the way they do that is by the two, Kazuhiko and Yamane, or Anna, talking by the stairs where they were initially like passing lunches to each other. And she says, people are starting to think I have a boyfriend now and I don't have a boyfriend and blah, 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 blah. And that's going to be the leading arc into the next episode or two. That is, it's always so well done within this show. It's such a great, it's going to be the best binge ever for anybody binging it because of that particular situation. But even
lucky y'all.
Yeah, right. Even week to week, you could just feel the peak storytelling that's coming. So now it's going to be a situation to where, and this is just it's a Polow prediction, so this is a guess. Christian the Archivist archive this for the future when this show ends to see how right or wrong I am. But Kazuhiko, Yanami, or Anna, the blue haired chick, she's going to get into this situations where she's trying to figure out an answer for them saying that they need to like separate so they can say that she doesn't have a boyfriend, so that these rumors don't continue to spread more. So they're going to go through a situation to where she tries to find somebody to be that separation for them too. Then it's going to lead to something like Lemon being that pretend girlfriend of Kazuhiko, our main character. I think. And while that's happening, while Lemon and Kazuhiko are spending more time together to separate from Anna's starting to get a little upset or slightly jealous, and she doesn't quite understand this feeling that she's having about Kazuhiko spending a lot of time with Lemon. And that's where we come to a understanding. Now, that is just from my slice of life experience that I feel where the story is going to go. However, as we said at the top, very unpredictable show, and I'm probably very wrong.
No, them sound like some bars. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I would like that. I would like it for it to go that way, but I could be very wrong. I don't know. I don't know anything. Just a good guess. Closing thoughts, Tel.
No, I want that.
You want it?
I want that. I like that.
It would be pretty fire. And I would want it to be Lemon, and I want them to end up happily ever after because Lemon's just great. She's just literally the best. She's probably the most mature one, even though she's still, very kid-like, but she's the mature one out of all of them.
But I do think that they have to build, what's her name? The timid
Chica.
one more. Chica.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have to build her more.
I'd agree.
So maybe we'll get another moment with development with her before we get into something like that.
7 out of 12. And I'm like, so you don't know. You're right. Could be right. All right. And the manga's still releasing for this show, funny enough.
Jeez.
Light novel still releasing in the manga, which is interesting. Wow, they knew this was going to be popular. They're like, let's adapt this quickly.
Keep it going.
Keep it going. All right, moving on. Let's throw in the My Hero drip real quick.
All right, let's do that.
What'd you think? What'd you have for me?
I just want to know what are your thoughts currently on My Hero, because like I said, I've read it, I finished it at this point. I was thinking about My Hero before we got here, and I wanted to know your thoughts because I was specifically thinking about like when Promised Neverland ended and how the manga, I know people hated the ending for the manga, but the manga's ending did not deter me from continuously watching the anime, even though the anime ended up being trash, and that deterred me from wanting to continue watching that, right? But I think that I'm at a point where like the My Hero Academia manga is faithful, and it has at this point deterred me from actually wanting to watch it. So while I did watch the most recent episode, I'm not like thrilled to watch it. So I want to know what's your insight on that? How are you feeling about My Hero?
Well said. For me, and again, I'm probably gonna get some sub tweets from Rob J. Rob J be on Twitter like, yeah, y'all could never make me hate My Hero.
I'm not trying to. No, I know. This is what I'm saying. Because every time we talk about My Hero in an episode, he always mentions something on Twitter about it, which is funny. Yeah, and we don't try to make, just for the record, this is not just to Rob J, this is to everybody. We don't try to make anybody hate anything. We just say what we feel about any stuff. And, however you feel about it is how you feel about it. We just say how we feel about stuff. However, for My Hero, it's so, and this is from somebody who didn't read it, it feels like it's going to lead up to, and I don't know. Again, I don't know. I haven't been spoiled. I don't know shit. It feels like it's going to lead to a very bittersweet, typical ass end that is going to be unsatisfying and unfulfilling. Only because of where the show has been going and has been going. And I feel that way because all of this heavy monologue screaming and very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very backstory heavy ass, trying to make you care about characters that it gave no love to in the beginning of the series. Like with all this, it's been so fucking boring to watch. And even during the most climactic moments, like Deku and Shigaraki fighting again for the 16th time, even during these moments where it's supposed to be epic, I just don't care. I'm so fucking bored of the show because it just feels like it's been going for so fucking long with nothing paying off. It's been the same shit over and over. Fight, backstory, fight, backstory, fight, backstory, fight. And it's all just repetitive. I'm so fucking tired of seeing it, especially this most recent episode. This most recent episode is the most mindless, boring, pointless episode I've ever seen in my life. Like there's no reason to spend an entire episode on these losers. I'm gonna say it, losers. These classmates that nobody give a fuck about. And they're trying to make you give a fuck about them, and I just don't. I don't care about Tentacool. I don't care about Anima. I don't care about Lizard Boy. I truly, truly, truly don't care about none of it. So for me, and then they did it in a place where obviously Deku's fighting Shigaraki. So it's all just a terribly paced shit of a show. However, I will say again, atmosphere they do right, music they do right. They do pieces of it right. Like sorry, Tell, one more thing. Go ahead.
They need to do what I saw on One Piece Reddit a long time ago, and that's cut cut it to the points of just the main fights. Put the backstory at the beginning of a season. Like just chop this shit up and make it so concise that when you're watching it, it's a seamless. Let's start with backstory for the first 4 or 5 episodes. So all the backstory cutscenes they have, put them together, and then finish the fight, and then put another another backstory episodes for the next batch of fights, and then put those together. And it's just separate them from the inside the fight situations. I think it'll be so well done that way.
I think those are bars as well. What I was going to say is that, ironically enough, this part I feel like was so much better in the manga. And I hate to say it, and it's only because it can snap by so quick, man.
You turn the pages,
I feel like they need to somehow accommodate for that. I'm not sure if they're like wasting time, because I know this is a money anime, you know what I mean? This is a bank for them. So it's like, I know that that's the case, but it's like this most recent episode for me did not have to be a whole episode.
Yeah.
This did not have to be a whole episode. This could have been a third of an episode, bro. Mm-hmm. We could be damn near done with this season specifically by this point. And I hate to say that. And it makes me feel like I know it makes it sound like I'm impatient. But it didn't need to be that. I saw there was a blast scene or like an image, right? It was like one of those still shots scenes that was like damn near 8-10 seconds of like just a picture, and then you just scroll by. Like, first of all, this is My Hero Academia. Y'all have the budget to animate that scene.
Yeah, even again, you are spitting when you say it's just when you're reading it, you could just turn the pages. And I think what it is that, or sorry, you were spitting when you mentioned that it's a cash machine. It's never going to, it's the reason why they've repeated so many of these same fights over between Dabi and Shigaraki and All for One and One for All or whatever the fuck it is. Like, when all these fights that keep just happening over and over, nobody's fucking dying completely yet when it comes to the villain side of things. Except for the Liberation dude. That motherfucker gone as hell. But like, when it comes to this part, I think it's just because it was one of the biggest series popping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so thankful we got stuff like Dr. Stone ending next season, Fire Force coming back with a final season, and it's three and done. Like, that shit is the reason why those are leagues above, in my opinion. Leagues above My Hero. It's because it knows when to wrap it up.
And that's also why I think what Demon Slayer is doing is so huge. It knows how long it needs to stay, bro. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like all right, look, we done did all the seasons we need to do. Boom, we hit new movies and we done. We out.
That's it.
And it's like,
I love that shit. I love that.
That was the start of this podcast, and it's going to be the end of like that anime. And we're gonna be like, yo, man, that was beautiful, and it didn't overstay its welcome. Yep. And it ain't gonna be nothing anybody can say as bad about it at that point. You know what I mean? Like, you can still, people will be able to say whatever they want about it,
100%.
But they're not gonna be able to say that it overstayed its welcome. And I think that is a beautiful thing.
Yep.
And I wish My Hero Academia did the same thing, because, and I know obviously like people love it. Rob J, I ain't saying you shouldn't love it. I even enjoy a lot of it. I even enjoy the ending technically. Like, I like how it ended personally for me. But I think that definitely there needs to be an understanding of overstaying the welcome, and like you said, it's a cash grab.
Yeah, 100% a cash grab. The same way with how Attack on Titan was.
Right. And that's another one I thought about. Literally, Attack on Titan was another one I thought about in that scenario.
Yeah, it's awful. It's awful. All right, moving on. Oshi No Ko, my favorite show.
This episode put Oshi No Ko in top 10.
Yeah, it's hard to look at my top 10, and I'm taking out Ash Lost in Space, and this is going in there.
Oshi No Ko is cooking, bro.
Yeah, it's literally belongs to number 9 in my top 10 for sure.
Oshi No Ko is fucking cooking, man. Hear me out. You hear me out, bro. Mm-hmm. It's the emotion.
Yeah. Oh, wait.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, they gave us even more of Kanna's backstory. They did that bit in season 1 too, so I already knew about it. Guess what? Mm-hmm. I still don't give a fuck about her. She still makes me sick. Sorry, I just had to get that out of the way. But get that out of the way for fear and TCB.
Even with that though, right? Like, you look at how Aqua moves in the entirety of this show. Aqua makes you love every character he interacts with. Because, like you said, with Kanna, I feel like he definitely set the stage for her. But the way he set the stage for her set the stage for him. Yep. It was crazy, bro. It was how is he gonna act? And then he finally gets out there, he's emotionless. And it's like they're talking about how this cold, emotionless acting drives, like it's gonna be a parallel, so you can't compare these two characters because they're literally complete polar opposites. And it's like, yeah, you can compare them, but you really can't. Like, it's hard to compare them because of how they are. Yep. And then we watch this thing, and I love how it feels like I'm in the fucking 4D play, bro. It feels like I'm there watching it on my TV with the surround sound. I'm like, oh my God, bro, this is killing
transitions me. And everything.
Yeah, it's a transition, and then you get this shift. And hear me out. We agree that we don't always like backstory just shifted in and thrown into certain scenarios.
It's the way they did it here. There's a way to do it.
And then it just shifts into this high gear, highly dramatic, powerful angles, powerful animation, powerful sound design. I felt it, bro.
Yeah.
This episode was something important, bro. This was a special episode for me.
I'm clamoring for next week, clamoring to see how this wraps up with the scene that Aqua's doing right now. Because what it does is and this is honest to God, I swear I'm on the edge of my seat every time, and I get emotional watching this show. Every single time I watch it, I get emotional, and it's not like I'm crying or shedding tears or anything like that. Sometimes it takes my breath away. Sometimes I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm just so emotionally invested in what's going on that it blows my fucking mind. And then seeing like Ruby from the crowd sit there and like admire what the hell is going on and just see everybody's reaction to Kanna coming into her own. But like you said, how Aqua set it up for her to shine just so he can fucking devour everybody when it's all said and done. So he can continue to act more and continue to get more jobs and continue to get to where he is, so he can solve, like you always say, this murder mystery that this show is actually supposed to be. It's crazy, brilliant. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna make you shine as bright as possible just so I can fucking devour you. And it's so, he's like, I don't care if it's Kanna, I don't care if it's Akane, I don't care if it's the number one acting dude, I'm gonna fucking devour you. And that shit had me like, whew, I got chills. I was like, It honestly took my breath away in that moment when his eyes changed to that black star. I was like, fuck, dude, this shit's so good. The hyperbole, not the hyperbole, I guess metaphor they use. What's the term for, and maybe there's not a term for this. What's the term for metaphors being used in a physical sense? I don't think there is one, but you get what I'm saying, right? Where it's like they're showing different things within the eyes, like Kanna's eyes sparkling, right? That's a metaphor for her shining brightly.
Symbolization is a symbol.
Symbolization, right? And it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful in that aspect that you just can't deny how fucking wonderful it is, man. I cannot wait to see it next week.
And I love how, cause hear me out, the director / pseudo dad figure dude, he knows Aqua, and he's able to kind of read and understand. I love it, right?
Yeah.
But then you get the correlation with like the role he's playing and how he feels about I, right? So he's like, I'm only here to avenge I. But that avenge comes into play with the role he's playing. And I'm just like, oh, this man is a fucking...
What did the director say? He said, then act like you don't love it. Act like you fucking hate it. And that is... He said, because most people act like because they love acting, you're going to act like you can't stand it. And because of this particular role that he's playing, like you said, it's being invoked. You can see the hate and disgust and anger in his face. It's just so brilliant, man. It's so brilliant the way they set everything up to knock everything down, knock everything out. It's just so good, man. It's perfect. It's a 10 out of 10 show. And you know how we say episodes? No, this show is 10 out of 10. Like this will be a 10 out of 10 show on our anime list. And do remember what people also have to remember is that season 1 was 11 episodes. I know the first episode was an hour and the last episode was an hour, but understand that they were both that this was season 1 was 11 episodes, so we didn't get much, but we got enough. It was spectacular. Yeah. All right. Man. Moving on to good gushing. Moving on to last but certainly not least, Yatagarasu. Yatagarasu has been so fucking intriguing the entire time. Like at first, before we went to a break and they started showing when they showed the monkey before that break at the very, very end, I'm like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. And then when it comes back, it's like, oh, what the fuck is this? And now it's like, oh, what the fuck is this? It went from, mostly political with some supernatural to now supernaturally political. And to get the understanding that we got today, and I'm gonna just jump right into it, where the prince was doing what he's there to do, and that's protect Yatagarasu by making sure the barrier to the quote unquote outside world is protected, meaning that the world of where Yatagarasu take place is much more vast than we thought, which means that there isn't people that just turn into ravens, but there's people that turn into monkeys. There's people that probably turn into other shit that we just don't know about yet. And I find to be so captivating because it seems like there would be like whole different cultures, right?
Right. And then even the question posed with like him checking the barrier and then saying, well, how did they get in then? The barrier is still erected. So how did they even get in to begin with? Yeah. It's not how they got in. It's either they always been here.
Yeah. Because once you leave, you don't come back too. Like it's so much shit.
So it's so... hear me out, bro. So like you said, it was on the break. I was uncertain because I'm like, I don't know what to expect here. In fact, that could have been what threw me off a little bit. Yeah. But this show, I love how subtle it felt, like with tying you into the politics and who's vying for the throne here, who's trying to be who, and then you get, like you said, that shift. So now this almost feels like. So it doesn't feel like it's going to shift to like an action-oriented moment, but it feels like while vying for, getting the throne and everything like that, we're also going to get that that shift to some more action and why it's important for him to be recognized as the Kinu the way that he's been fighting for. And it almost leans into adding legitimacy to his character even more because like you said, we get to see him in action, so to speak, even he has a body double. We get to see him take action and essentially going to try and find a resolution and resolve the problem. But it's always been like, now it lends detail to the mysteriousness that he's been having the entirety of the show. Because what has he been moving like? And this, it creates more information, or not more information, but more intrigue as to like, that's why he was moving in this more silent way, because he knew who the enemies were. He just didn't know necessarily where they were, and he didn't necessarily know. He knew that they were. I'm not gonna say he knew who they were. He knew he had enemies that were within his community, his people, right? But now it's almost like the problem was bigger than he expected.
No, if you're talking about Yukiya, whatever his name is, the main character. I'm not talking about him. The prince knew, and that's why he mentioned the Yukiya. Like, this is where Yukiya was like, yo, so this is where you disappear off to. So to repair the barrier, it won't last forever. Blah blah blah. Like, I think the prince always knew that it was always a bigger problem than just a political throne piece of it. And that's why going through what he's going through now is very intriguing because now you got this underground gang. Luckily, they are tied together, the monkeys in the underground gang, because I thought, I'm like, this would be a little too much if it was the underground gang and then the monkeys on top of that. So maybe there's like an underground world in which they came through and like smuggled these monkeys in or whatever. But damn, that shit sound crazy to say. Wait a minute, pause. Y'all know what I mean. It's very intriguing. There's two things that came out of this episode for me. It's the fact that they were in a non-aggression pact with the underbelly of Yatagarasu, which is huge because that means there's a whole other possibility of a civil war breaking out. And then two, we got a little bit of answers from episode 1. That being who the two little kids were, and then who met the original Golden Kinu. It was actually Yukiya and his older brother. And we actually saw the Golden Kinu finally. Like it was darker or whatever. It was like shaded a little bit, but we saw the Golden Kinu actually flying, which is fucking dope, by the way. And we got a little piece of that little backstory and memory from Yukiya. So I think those are two very important pieces of this episode that stands out to me the most, because I do think it's with this show in general, everything is so much deeper than that, right? So whatever you see, it's deeper than that. So if you see one thing, it's going to be deeper than that.
And do you think that's why they've been trying to keep Yukiya around so much?
Yeah.
Because maybe, and I'm not saying he is a key to the Kinu thing, but you think that he is important to the Kinu in that sense? Yeah,
because you remember in episode 1 that bird says something to those kids. I don't remember what he said exactly. I'll have to go back and watch episode 1 to figure that out. But something was said that was like, I'm going to protect you or something. I think it was something along those lines. And I think the prince always knew Yukiya was that kid that he saw those years back. So there's something deeper in that as well. So I need to know. And then with the way the mystical part of it is coming into the show now, what else is there?
Man.
You know, like what?
Is the barrier going to get knocked down and then we have an influx of chaos? I don't know what to expect. But like you said, smuggling or sneaking the monkey folk in, or, you know, because it would make sense if they have a barrier and it only protects the top, because who's thinking about necessarily crawling underground? Yeah. This doesn't seem like they have like super high tech machinery right now. You know what I mean? So it's like, who's thinking about crawling underground? Maybe monkeys who have immense strength, who maybe can dig a tunnel or whatever. Yep. We don't know, but we will be seeing soon. Exactly.
It's been special, man. It's been so special. Yatagarasu is great. It's a great show. Let me see. I'm happy it's back. Yeah, me too. Me too. What is the community of Annie-list thinking? 71% should be higher than that for sure. Like way higher.
Much certainly.
Huey dropped it. That's crazy. Huey TJ, pick it back up. You tripping. Yeah, there's just so much good within this show that I can't fathom not watching it. Truly. All right. So to wrap this up, I do want to say, I do want everybody to, if you listen this far, to give us your top 5 into the thread in our Discord. Well, let us know what your top 5 shows is in order from 5 to 1. Let us know what you think about this episode too. Leave it in the YouTube comments or comment on, I think you can comment on Spotify too, or comment on the forums. Just let us know what you think about this episode and everything we talked about, especially My Hero. We love and appreciate y'all, but I'm at Polow Born Fly on all social media.
I'm at King Telliano on all social media.
You follow our social medias at Mike Check Waifu on Twitter and at Mike Check Waifu on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads. And as always, Mike Check.
You're now tuned into Mike Check Waifu.